And so they're finding stuff on the computer that she's authoring, that's implying a relationship with you, almost like a love affair.
After we had a small conversation, he then said that he already handled the situation. He already took care of it.
Were those his words? He took care of it?
Yeah, he took care of it.
On December 19, 2018, Iyana Sawyer was 16 years old and pregnant when she left Terry Parker High School during her lunch period, convinced that she and the father of her unborn child were about to run away together. She drove out to Ace Pick-A-Part, a large junkyard in Jacksonville, Florida, where the father, her uncle by marriage, Jonathan Quiles, was planning to meet her. Iyana was never seen again. The authorities searched and searched for Iyana, but they never found her. And just when it looked like the Iyana's case would never be resolved, a statement from Jonathan's brother blew the case wide open. What events led to Iyana Sawyer's disappearance? And was Jonathan Quiles turned in by his own brother? Let's find out in the story of Iyana Sawyer, the pregnant high school teen killed by predator uncle and father of her child.
I made the decision based upon it's not about the brotherhood, it's about a missing young girl.
On December 19, 2018, 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer was seen on a surveillance camera of Terry Parker High School holding what looked to be bags. It was lunchtime, and she was seen sharing lunch with her sister before walking out of the school. It's not uncommon for teenagers to skip school for one reason or the other. Teenagers sometimes express their rebellion through cutting class, but Iyana's case was different. You see, when Iyana walked out of school that day, that was the last time anyone ever saw her alive. Her disappearance triggered a widespread investigation that unveiled disturbing truths, a bizarre relationship, and family secrets. When Iyana didn't come home from school that day, her mother was instantly worried. She knew her daughter well and knew she wouldn't just skip school. Iyana was an A+ student and was doing really well in school. Iyana was super smart and hoped to get a scholarship to college, so skipping school wouldn't exactly look good on her college applications. It was just unlike Iyana to run away, so her mother was really worried. There was also something else that made Iyana's mother really worried. Iyana was 5 months pregnant. Her mother had just found out a few weeks before she disappeared, but in the short time she had known about it, her and Iyana had planned out how they would navigate raising the baby. Iyana's mother was willing to help her out, so it didn't make sense that Iyana would just run away. Iyana's mom quickly informed the authorities of her disappearance, and after a few days of not hearing from Iyana, the authorities officially declared her a missing person. They posted flyers that contained information about what she was wearing, her pregnancy, and when she was last seen, urging people to come forward with any information that might lead them to Iyana. And thankfully, someone did. After Iyana disappeared, her sister confessed to her mother that she knew who got Iyana pregnant. She revealed to her mom that their uncle, Jonathan Quiles, who was married to their aunt, had had an inappropriate relationship with Iyana and had gotten her pregnant. Since Iyana and her sister were old enough to help and were free during that summer, their mom asked them to go help Jonathan out. She had no idea the sinister intentions buried deep inside Jonathan's mind. Although Iyana's mom was very shocked when her daughter told her what their uncle had been doing to them in secret, it was not the first time she was hearing it. In March 2018, rumors had began circulating that Jonathan was saying his nieces. After the rumors got to Iyana's mom, she questioned the girls about the rumors she heard, but they both denied it, insisting that nothing like that was happening. She wasn't satisfied with their response, so she spoke to her sister, Jonathan's wife, about the rumors. Jonathan's wife also questioned the girls, away from her husband, and again, they denied the rumors, so she let it go. It wasn't until Iyana disappeared that her sister came forward. She told her mom that she had not meant to lie about it before, but she was scared of what Jonathan would do to her and Iyana if she ever told anyone what was happening. But that wasn't her only reason for denying the rumors. She told her mom that Iyana had made her promise to keep the inappropriate relationship a secret, and because she didn't want to ruin her relationship with Iyana, she agreed to keep her secret. Armed with information that confirms her suspicions against Jonathan, Iyana's mom went to the authorities to report what she had heard. The authorities immediately visited Jonathan's house to question him about his relationship with Iyana. Jonathan denied having any kind of relationship with Iyana and being involved in her disappearance.
Hey John, what's going on?
Well, my wife just dropped a whole bunch of on me right now.
So we're missing today. Was she here?
No, no, she's not, there's no report of a missing child today.
When he was asked about the rumors of what he was doing to his nieces, Jonathan revealed that he had done nothing wrong and said the girls were the ones responsible for spreading the rumors.
Yeah, so those are some pretty serious allegations.
Yeah, you tell me about it. And this is the reason, because me and my wife, we don't even talk to any of them because they were starting these rumors a while back.
But that wasn't all. Jonathan had a lot to say when the officers on scene spoke to him. Without being asked, Jonathan tried to paint Iyana like someone who was messing around with so many men, including some neighbors.
You know, it's like she ended up getting caught with the guy next door, and he was a much older dude. And they came up with the whole idea that I was the one that turned them out for her. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy gossip.
The officers on the scene also spoke to Jonathan's wife, separate from her husband. They asked her if she thought her husband had anything to do with Iyana's disappearance, and she said no. She stood firmly beside him.
I'm gonna tell you, with regards to this here, do I think my husband is capable of any of this? No, I don't. You know, but I mean, I don't. We have a missing piece of the puzzle, obviously.
The officers then asked if it was common for Iyana to run away, and while Jonathan's wife said Iyana had never run off, Jonathan had something else to say.
Has she ever done this before? Has she ever got this?
No, she's okay. Like I told you, all the officers, man, she's complaining. She's always complaining.
He told officers that Iyana hadn't been too happy with the way her life was going, and she blamed her mother for it. Jonathan told the officers he was the one who often talked her down when she started complaining about her mother.
First of all, your mom is your mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your mom loves the hell out of you, no matter what.
He said he would often use his own childhood as an example and tell her the only way she would get out of her family situation is if she focused on school and got good enough grades to get her a scholarship to a college very far away.
I explained to them, I was like, listen, your situation is awesome compared to my situation growing up. You know what I mean? I had a real rough one growing up. Just, you know, stay focused in school.
There was one other thing officers were eager to ask Jonathan. Who was the father of Iyana's baby?
When I asked her about it, she said that she knew who the father was, but then, you know what I'm saying, you can't really take anything that she's saying serious.
Jonathan told officers that while he believed Iyana knew who got her pregnant at first, all the stuff he had heard about her messing about with several men had him doubting Iyana.
Because now that she's been gone, all this stuff that's been going on, going around, she's been dealing with this dude and that dude, and this other one is something that she was dealing with cousins at the same time.
He stressed to the officers that he had nothing to do with Iyana's disappearance, but the officers searched his premises anyway.
If we knew where she was at, we would have been the first ones to grab her and bring her over.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately, they found nothing anywhere on the property that would lead them to Iyana. Jonathan and his wife also told officers that they hadn't seen Iyana since November 2018 when she came to visit for a bit.
When was the last time you all saw her then?
Last time they stayed the night over here, which was before, it was in November. Last week in November.
While officers combed through the house and found no evidence Jonathan had done something wrong, they did find Iyana's laptop, and this would prove very useful. On the laptop, officers found love letters that looked like it was written by Iyana to Jonathan. The letters were enough evidence for officers to arrest Jonathan Quiles. They took him to the station where investigators in charge of the case talked to him about Iyana.
The investigator explains that she is handling a missing persons case. That missing person is Iyana Sawyer. They found a love note on her computer. They believe it is about Quiles.
And so they're finding stuff on the computer that she's authoring that's implying a sexual relationship with you. Almost like a love affair.
Jonathan again denied being in an inappropriate relationship with Iyana. At this point, investigators didn't have anything on him apart from the letters, and the letters were not directly addressed to Jonathan, so they had to let him go the same day he was arrested. But before he was released, Jonathan did say something that captured the investigators' attention. According to the investigators, Jonathan revealed to them that when Iyana would come visit them, all she would pack were Victoria's secret underwear. That was an immediate red flag for investigators. It struck them them as odd that Jonathan would know the content of his niece's suitcase whenever she came to visit. At this point, investigators suspected that Jonathan knew more than he was telling them, so they asked for his DNA and Jonathan gave it to them. While Jonathan returned back to his normal life, investigators began their investigation properly. They analyzed the evidence that had been gotten from Jonathan's home, including the DNA. They also spoke to Iyana's family, as well as Jonathan's neighbors, and they all confirmed that their suspicions that Jonathan was essaying his nieces. They also spoke to Iyana's sister, who said she had walked in on Jonathan, holding Iyana inappropriately several times. Iyana's mom also recalled one day when she walked in on something that could only be described as bizarre. She told investigators that she walked in on Jonathan, hugging Iyana intimately. According to her, the hug didn't look like the kind of hug an uncle would share with his niece. But what made her even more suspicious was how Jonathan behaved when she walked in. According to her, Jonathan didn't know that she had walked into the room at first, and when he saw her, he quickly released Iyana from the hug and acted very panicky. Iyana's mom said she felt something was wrong, but when she pressed Iyana about it, she got no response. After getting everything they could from Iyana's family, investigators also went to Iyana's school to speak to students to find out if anyone knew where she was, but no one did. So investigators checked surveillance footage all over the school. There, they saw that Iyana had waked out of the school premises after launch. She was carrying what looked like bags with clothes in it, and she had not been picked up by anyone, which meant she either went to meet whoever she was leaving with or she ran away on her own. But that was where the investigation stalled. At this point, investigators had exhausted all their possible leads, and they had not found anything. They had run out of new clues to pursue, and Iyana's case was about to become a cold case when a tip came in that blew the case wide open. They tested the DNA they collected from Jonathan against some of Iyana's belongings found in Jonathan's home, and while some of it came back as a match, it wasn't enough to rearrest him. It was his house after all, and his DNA being on Iyana's stuff can easily be explained away. Investigators knew they needed more, and in the meantime, there weren't any other leads to follow, so the case pretty much came to a grinding halt. But just as they were giving up on ever solving Iyana's disappearance, they received a call from Jonathan's brother, Jonathan Quiles, and he revealed really chilling information to the investigators. The information Joseph provided led investigators to start searching the Otis Road landfill in Jacksonville, Florida. Investigators were told Iyana Sawyer could have been brought there. They were also told to look for things like bones, a bag containing women's clothing, school books, and other items related to the case. After searching for 16 days at the landfill, investigators hit the jackpot. They found underwear from Victoria's Secret, a book from Terry Parker High School, and paperwork from Ace Pick-a-Part where Jonathan worked. Though they did not find Iyana's body, they sent the items they found to the lab, and because they already had Jonathan's DNA on file, it wasn't long before they had a partial match. 2 weeks after Jonathan was arrested and released, he was rearrested from his place of work and brought in for questioning. He continued to deny the allegations, saying his nieces had already cleared him of any wrongdoing.
Then has been inappropriate with, now they question them girls separately, together, and it's been, nope, he's never been inappropriate with me.
Investigators then told him about the DNA, which didn't seem to faze Jonathan as he continued to deny everything.
So there would be no reason to have any of your DNA?
Nope. Nope, not at all. I have no idea where to find her. She never told me anything about running away, and I can't give you any information I don't have about her, period.
At this point, despite the fact that Jonathan had not confessed and they were yet to find Iyana's body, investigators had a pretty good idea of what happened on December 19, 2018. 16 years old, pregnant with her uncle's baby, and unknowing of his sinister intentions, Iyana Sawyer snuck out of school to go meet up with her uncle, Jonathan Quiles, who she had been in a relationship with. But what she thought was going to be them running away to a place where they could be together and raise their child turned out to be where she breathed her last.
38-year-old Jonathan Quiles. Police say back in 2018, Jonathan Quiles killed his wife's 16-year-old niece, Iyana Sawyer, after getting the teen pregnant. And then prosecutors say he dumped her body, which was never found.
Jonathan Quiles was charged with the murder of his niece, Iyana Sawyer. The prosecution presented their case through witness testimonies. The first person invited to the stand was Jonathan's brother, Joseph. He told the court that a day after Iyana disappeared, Jonathan called him 4 times. Joseph was living in New York York when Jonathan called him frantic. He revealed to his brother that he had done something bad, but what Jonathan revealed shocked Joseph to the core. During their conversations, Jonathan admitted to luring Iyana to the junkyard under the pretense of them running away together. He told his brother that he had tried getting her to get rid of the pregnancy, but she refused. Jonathan also told his brother that he would lose his family if she had the baby. She was 5 months pregnant at the time. Jonathan then went on to tell his brother exactly how he had carried out his dark and sinister plans.
He picked her up. He had her sitting in the vehicle, waiting. He tried to strangle her. It didn't work out. He couldn't stomach it. And so then he later shot her in the chest.
Joseph Quiles told the court, Jonathan told him he used a carpet to wrap the body before putting her in a dumpster.
And then he proceeded to discard the body by taking the body and putting it transporting it into a dumpster and destroying the vehicle.
When asked how long Jonathan said he planned it, his brother testified he had been planning it for months. Joseph Quiles said he wasn't sure if Jonathan was telling the truth at first, but when he saw the news that Iyana was missing, he had no choice but to call the authorities.
I made the decision based upon it's not about the brotherhood, it's about a missing young girl.
Joseph also revealed that Jonathan tried to contact him after confessing to him to ask if he had gone to the police, but he didn't want to speak to Jonathan at the time, so he sent this text. I can't talk to you right now. I have to stay firm on my decision. What you told me isn't a joke or something, so yeah, I told the police because they need to know. Jonathan quickly responded. He seemed to take back his earlier confession in the text and called Joseph names for betraying him to the authorities. You can't even talk to me, really. I never did anything to that girl, and now you put me through this, and you call me your brother? After this is over, I'm all the way done with you. You're a real piece of for what you've done. But that wasn't all. The prosecutor still had more witnesses to call to the stand. Jonathan's boss at Ace Pick-A-Part was also called to the stand. He testified that on December 19, 2018, the day Iyana was reported missing, Jonathan clocked in at 8:08 a.m. and out at 5:09 p.m. And on December 20th, 2018, he clocked in at 8:02 a.m. and out at 2:48 p.m. His time card showed he never left the premises on both days. But here's where things got interesting. Though Jonathan told investigators he never left the building on both days, and the timestamp backed him up, providing him with a solid alibi. The surveillance camera at the building where he worked told a different story. The court saw a surveillance video from the business that showed a red minivan left the building lot around 11:17 a.m. on December 19, 2018, and came back around 12:30 p.m. Joseph drove a red minivan. Prosecutors showed surveillance video of him coming and going in the red minivan. He was also seen driving a front loader on the day Iyana disappeared, as well as the day after. Jonathan's boss then testified that he did not give Jonathan the permission to leave the premises, and Jonathan never clocked out. But that wasn't all. The boss also testified that Jonathan had access to unrestricted areas of the company property and to a large commercial dumpster. But that wasn't all. Jonathan's boss also testified to seeing Jonathan drive into an area of the business that other employees don't typically go to. He went back and forth at least 2 times. The boss also told the court that on December 19th or December 20th, he saw Jonathan carrying duct tape, even though there is no typical duty on the company property that would require duct tape. But it didn't end there. The prosecutor had more up their sleeve. The next evidence introduced to the court was the audio recording from an inmate who shared a cell with Jonathan while he was in the county jail. The man wore a wire provided by police.
Did you tell your brother before you did it or after you did it? No. This is after the fact that she was missing. Why were they pointing fingers at you? Because of my brother.
The man and his brother had a rather long conversation with Jonathan, where Jonathan opened up about everything he did, explaining the timeline from when Iyana was dumped until they started to look for her. The brothers acted like they were on Jonathan's side so they could get him to talk more about what happened.
You did the right thing. I won't leave my wife either. You did the right thing. You should have told your brother. You should have just went to New York and killed him.
But that wasn't all. When the brothers Jonathan asked how he got rid of the body, he told them that he knew how long it would take for the human body to decompose because his mom worked in a morgue. The court also heard from Jonathan's wife at the time, Naomi Mobley. She said she was initially defensive when her sisters suggested her husband of 5 years was interacting inappropriately with Iyana and might even be the father of her unborn baby.
At that time, no, but afterwards, having over 4.5, almost 5 years, to sit back and think in hindsight, yes, I will say that that was extremely strange.
But at some point after Iyana vanished, Naomi started to piece things together.
In hindsight, as opposed to with all the new information, I can sit back and say, okay, well, that was strange, to cooking my niece a meal every time, especially knowing that she was also pregnant at the same time that I was pregnant.
She then gradually began to believe he was capable of unaliving the teen. But the prosecution wasn't done. The final nail to Jonathan's coffin were the lewd text messages he had sent Iyana. Just making it so easy for me to leave you alone. Goodbye, Iyana. I'm just so in love with you. I'll kill you and cry. The court also saw Snapchat messages between Jonathan and Iyana from August 2018. In the messages, Jonathan wrote about how they were to be together when she turned 18, but also how he was heartbroken and angry with her. Much of the defense's contention focused on how nothing can be proven because her body was never found. The defense called only 3 witnesses, and Quiles was not one of them. On September 21st, 2023, after deliberating for less than 60 minutes, the jury found Jonathan Quiles guilty of first-degree murder. Hey, thanks for watching. Our deepest sympathies go to the family of Iyana Sawyer. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you know of other similar cases? Let me know in a comment, and before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. See you next time, and stay safe.